one of those personal goals that I have is to like really be in control of myself, control of my emotions, control of my responses. And I think for the most part, I've been able to do a good job, but I've had some tests are so focused on, this validation, the applause, the recognition, the celebrity, the other forms of success that comes with what it is that you're achieving, that you lose focus. Having control of your emotions, being in control of your responses, your reactions, not allowing persons or circumstances to dictate how you respond, but you respond dictating those circumstances. I haven't quite been successful in being in tune with my star player. I'll admit it, right? I allowed my tune to be turned off once. Remember that bit? Oh, more than once? My wife gave me the eye like it wasn't just once. Being in control of yourself, not allowing others to dictate your responses or your reactions, not allowing circumstances to dictate your responses or your reactions. I think it's key, right? And it shows maturity. It shows like true growth. It shows consistent development. And it shows confidence, right? It shows confidence in yourself, right? Because you know what you bring to the table. All right, what's up? Welcome to the new episode of the Myles High Podcast. This is Myles Jr., your host, and as always, the vision and goal of this podcast is to entertain, educate, and elevate you miles high above your fears, your doubts, and any limitations that you may think exist, always knowing that those limitations only exist in your mind. All right, so I have a sort of a unique part I want to talk about today. I'm a big fan of comedy, stand-up comedy, and I recently rewatched a stand-up that Cat Williams did a while back. And if you know me, I have a handful of comics that I go to when I need a good laugh, and Cat Williams is definitely one of them. But I was watching one of his stand-ups from several years back, and in the stand-up, he was talking about one of his tagline was, "You have to be in tune with your star player," right? And he told a bunch of jokes behind it, kind of describing and detailing what it means to be in tune with your star player. And after rewatching it, it just kind of hit me a little different this year in particular, mainly because this is a year where I've set some very specific goals for myself, interpersonally, professionally, and spiritually, right? And I am truly focused on accomplishing those goals the best I can. And one of those personal goals that I have is to like really be in control of myself, control of my emotions, control of my responses. And I think for the most part, I've been able to do a good job, but I've had some tests early this year, and my wife and I have been kind of joking back and forth about it, just trying to keep a cool head and just allow things to work themselves out and not get too stressed about it, right? But this has been something that I've been working on, and watching this stand-up by Kat recently, it just reminded me of how important it is for us to be in tune with our star player. So that's what I want to talk about today, right? I want to speak about being in tune with your star player, right? In this game of life, you only have control over one player in the game, and that's yourself, right? And the star player deals with your identity, your values, and your purpose, right? It's all centered around that, right? It's having control of your identity, your values, and your purpose. And it's the foundation of our being, right? It allows us to be centered, having control of those things, amongst other things, but mainly those three things, our values, our identity, and our purpose. It allows us to live a centered life, right? To live hopefully a self-controlled life. and losing your tune, right? When we talk about like not being able to be self-centered, right? Not being able to be self-controlled, it causes you to be, it causes you to experience a lot of effects, right? A lot of things that you would hope not to experience in life or not to happen with you, or the responses that you give, not being in tune with the star player that is yourself, that is your true identity. It can cause a lot of setbacks, right? You can be swayed by good, right? You could be swayed by the applause and the validations that we get, right? And usually, when we're not in tune with ourselves and know exactly who we are, when we get these accolades and people applaud us and people validate us in the things that we do, we start to loathe that, right? We start to covet that sort of recognition. It becomes like a high, and we tend to become now performative, right? Or we chase these trends. We try to do whatever it is that we can do to, continue getting the applause and continue getting the validation of others. And that's not what the truest way to be, right? Because it can cause you to remove off the path that you're supposed to be on, that purpose journey that you're on, right? You are so focused on, this validation, the applause, the recognition, the celebrity, the other forms of success that comes with what it is that you're achieving, that you lose focus. So that's losing, and so you could lose focus in the good, right? The good things that we do, the applause that we get, the validation that we get, it causes us just to be off our game, right? And we're then out of tune with our star player, right? Or you could be swayed by the bad, right? And the bad involves just like rejection, criticism, not being successful, failure, all of these negative things that we can experience in life, and it causes us to doubt ourselves, right? To doubt our journey. It causes us to lose focus on the things that we have set out to do. And this is something in particular that I was experiencing and challenged with, so far for this year. Had some goals, had some plans, met with some challenges within those goals and plans. And man, I started to react, right? And react in a way that I've been trying to train myself not to react. And for me, it's important for me to always be in control of my emotions. Now, if you know me, you know that I am a person who is very short-tempered. I've really gotten better as these years have went by, but it's still a work in progress for me, right? Sometimes, things happen and the spur of the moment and I just react, and it's like, man, 2-3 minutes pass and I think about it and I'd be like, man, I could have reacted differently. Man, I could have been better in tuned with my star player, right? And that's the goal for this year. The goal for this year is to not allow circumstances or individuals, right, to dictate my responses, to dictate how I react, to dictate how I move in my journey throughout my life. I always want to be in control. I always want to be in tune with my star player. So, the rejections, the failures, the criticism, it doesn't sway me either way, right? And then you can just be swayed by comparison, right? You can be swayed by the things that are neither good or bad, right? It's just sort of that in between, right? Where you look at others and you start to compare yourself and be like, man, I don't look like that, or I'm not achieving that success. And it causes you, again, to doubt yourself and to lose focus. And, you just, you get off the track that you are on, the track that is made for you, that is truly set for you to follow. I think being in tune with our star player can be a part of every aspect of our life, right? Our professional life, our personal life, our spiritual life, our relationships. It's always important for us to be in control. I did a pod last year sometime talking about emotional intelligence, and that's essentially what being in tune with your star player is about, right? It's having control of your emotions, being in control of your responses, your reactions, not allowing persons or circumstances to dictate how you respond, but you respond dictating those circumstances, right? Dictating how you want those circumstances to pan out, because you have a different perspective of looking at them. So being swayed by good, being swayed by the bad, being swayed by the in between, all of these things can cause us to lose our tune with our star player, right? But staying in tune, right? Being one with yourself, being confident in who you are, what it is that you bring to the table, what it is that you do, being confident about that, it allows us to have clarity of decisions, right? We have no confusion when we need to make decisions. Once we know who we are and what it is that what we stand on, our ethics, our morals, our decision making is easy, right? Because we base it off principles, right? We base it off our belief system. We base it off what we know to be true, right? So there's clarity in decision making. There's confidence in our identity, right? We are our true, authentic selves, and people love us or hate us because of that, right? And either way, it's fine, right? Either way, it shouldn't sway you, because the ones that love you for who you are, and the ones that hate you for who you are. Either way, it's who you are, right? It's the person that you've grown into, the person that you've developed to be. And, I think as long as you're pleasing the Creator, right? The God that we serve, no one else matters, right? No one else should be a part of that equation, because the goal is to serve God and God only. Everyone else is just white noise, in a sense. So it causes us to be confident in our identity. And then it consistently allows us to grow, right? Being in tune with ourselves, knowing who we are, we are always aware of the ability for us to continually grow and continually develop. So being in tune with your star player provides consistency with that growth. Do you feel like there's more to life than what you're experiencing? That deep down, you're meant for something greater? It's time to stop wondering and start discovering. At the Monroe Institute of Leadership, we believe every person carries a unique purpose, a calling designed specifically for you. Our transformative courses, Discover Purpose and Unlock Your Potential, are crafted to help you uncover that purpose and equip you with the tools to step confidently into your destiny. These powerful courses are for leaders, entrepreneurs, students, and visionaries like you. Through proven principles and actionable insights, you will clarify your vision and set bold goals. You will identify your strengths and passions. You will overcome the barriers holding you back, and you will step boldly into your God-given potential. Our expert facilitators draw from timeless and tested principles, blending practical strategies with kingdom truths to empower you to lead a life of purpose, impact, and transformation. The world needs what you have to offer. Don't let another day pass without unlocking the greatness within you. Visit our website, themill.org, and register today. The Monroe Institute of Leadership. Renew your mind and transform a generation. And then, being in tune with your star player just brings peace of mind, right? You're not stressed about anything, because again, you know who you are, you know what it is you represent, what you stand on, the principles that you adhere to. So regardless of what happens around you or what's happening around you, you're at peace, right? You're centered. You don't have stress. You don't experience the ups and downs and the ebbs and flows of life, right? You just go with it, right? You kind of try to dictate the tide instead of allowing the tide to push you around. And when I think of being in tune with your star player, man, there's one athlete that comes to mind. Not LeBron. LeBron is absolutely, at least in my opinion, isn't always in tune with his star player. This player is more so a person that is in tune. He is the same person when they win, when they lose, when they have challenges within the game. You know, this person keeps the same energy, right? Throughout it all. Anyone can guess who this is? Absolutely not. Answer Steph. Kobe, absolutely not.
He would have said it was.
Absolutely not. Anthony Edwards is I mean, and no, I'm nope. In tune with his star player, Jokic.
Yeah, see,
And I guess no, you're right. I guess Jokic. But there's someone who is way more into him. Jaylen Hurts. Jaylen Hurts is a gentleman who is 100% in tune with his star player. They can score a touchdown. They can score a first down. I mean, gain a first down. He could be sacked. They could lose a game. They could win a game. They could win a Super Bowl. Jaylen Hurts is like, it's what it is. It's a part of life. And, you know, there's this meme that goes out and it has these different pictures or images of Jaylen Hurts, and he has like a straight face. It's about 369. It's about nine images. 8 of them is a straight face, and they're depicting like, you know, gaining a first down, scoring a touchdown, running for 100 yards, winning the Super Bowl, and all of these things, right? And it's just a plain face, no smile, no expression, no nothing. And then it says 4th and 1, and that's when he smiles, right? And it's all in jokes, right? It's all fun, but I think it's a good illustration of what it means to be in tune with your star player, right? You know, Jaylen Hurts, for those of you who don't know me, sorry, I should have explained or introduced who Jaylen Hurts is. He's the quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles, the American football team that just won the Super Bowl earlier this year. And he's one of those players who, you know, he's been to the Super Bowl before, lost during his first appearance. Didn't have a good year after that, and then made it back to the Super Bowl this year. And, you know, he's kind of been the same individual the entire time. You know, you have these reporters who have been sharing their opinions about him publicly. You know, some praise him, some criticize him. But either way, like, whatever it is, like, he just keeps a level head, man. And I you know, I'm inspired by his reaction, more so his reaction when things are going good, right? Because I'm sure everyone could have like a reaction when things aren't going good, and you want to be like, okay, it's cool, it is what it is. But, you know, a lot of people like cheer and get excited and are exuberant when things are great and you're winning and you're achieving things, right? But for Jaylen, it's the same, right? Whether he's winning, whether he's losing, at least from our perspective, right? From the outside perspective, he is the same person. And I think because he's so consistent with it, one can believe like this is just who he is, right? This is the type of character that he has. And that's truly being in tune with your star player. You know, and, you know, I like I said, I mentioned earlier this year, like this, I've been faced with a few challenges that have tested me being in tune with my star player. And, you know, I would think of Jaylen in those moments and just be like, man, what would Jaylen do? What expression would Jaylen have in his face? And I'll be quite honest with you, I haven't quite been successful in being in tune with my star player. I'll admit it, right? I think I allowed my tune to be turned off once. Remember that bit? Oh, more than once? Why? My wife gave me the eye like it wasn't just once, but it wasn't. You know, it's a work in progress for me, and I think, you know, the what I'm trying to communicate is being in control of yourself, not allowing others to dictate your responses or your reactions, not allowing circumstances to dictate your responses or your reactions. I think it's key, right? And it shows maturity. It shows like true growth. It shows consistent development. And it shows confidence, right? It shows confidence in yourself, right? Because you know what you bring to the table. Like I think of Jaylen and, you know, whether they win or lose, like I think the understanding is, man, I don't have any control over circumstances or outcomes, right? I can control what I bring to the table. I can control the effort. I can control the motivation. I can control, you know, my ability to study and prepare. And then just allow the game to play out, and we'll see who wins. LeBron is a genius in that sense, because for him it's like, man, I do a preparation and I do everything and I put myself in the best opportunity to be successful. Now, if I'm successful or not, right? That's just up to fate, right? It's up to what is on the table for me and how things pan out. But it's something that I don't have any control over. And knowing that you don't have that control, for me, it just means that you control what you can control, and that's yourself. You can control your reactions and your responses, and things like that. So, my challenge to everyone out there is to ask yourself: are you playing by your rules? Are you playing for others? Right? Are you trying to perform for those that are around you, trying to get the validation, trying to continue to be applauded for the good that you do? Or are you being moved because of the criticism or the rejections or the failures that you're experiencing? My challenge is to keep an even keel, man, keep a level head, regardless of what it is that you're going through, because being in tune with your star player, like, essentially it means like being truly confident in your ability, grounded in your purpose, and led by your convictions, right? The principles that you stand on, and don't allow anything to sway you. I'm challenging myself this year to work towards doing better. I'm going to try, I promise. I'm hopefully, in some later pods, I'll be able to kind of give some updates on how that has been going. But I'm challenging everyone to, just let's be in tune with our star player for 2025, right? That point of success, and that point, that highest point we can achieve individually, right, in our personal and professional and spiritual lives. Let's aim for that this year, and don't allow anything to throw us off our mark. I want to introduce you to the Monroe Global app, the ultimate platform to empower your leadership journey and inspire your purpose-filled life. Access timeless teachings designed to help you grow in every area of your life. From leadership development to personal growth, Monroe Global has it all at your fingertips. With the Monroe Global app, you'll have exclusive access to powerful videos and messages from the legendary Dr. Myles Munroe, a digital library packed with life-changing content right at your fingertips, and a vibrant global community of visionaries, leaders, and change makers just like you. Whether you're at home, on the go, or in the office, the Monroe Global app ensures you never miss an opportunity to learn, grow, and lead. Available now on Google Play and the Apple App Store, the Monroe Global app is your gateway to unlocking your potential and impacting your world. Download the Monroe Global app today and take the first steps toward living the life you were born to lead.
Yeah. Do you have any tips on how to stay in your zone when there are moments where, can take you outside of who you're trying to be?
So you asking someone who who struggles with that,
Well,
right?
you said you only had one moment this year. So what helped you only have one moment this year?
So I mean, it's just always being aware, right? Knowing that, okay, this is a challenging situation. Usually I know going into it that it could end up being a challenging situation, right? So for me, it's consciously being aware of my responses, right? Kind of almost going through the conversation or the activity prior to actually going through it, right? I'm going through it in my head, trying to figure out like what can happen, how would I respond if this happens, and whatnot. And it comes with practice. It comes with continuing to mature in it, continuing to build your character. But for me, it's not easy. So I don't know if I'm the best person to answer that question.
So therapy helps.
Therapy.
Things that I've learned is you can do deep breaths.
I mean,
You can count, and then you can say, you know what, let me step outside of the situation.
yeah, but it's hard though, because
Well, I'm giving you tips then.
You giving me tips?
Yeah, I'm giving you tips. Step outside of the situation. Say, you know what?
But
I'll come back when I'm calm and cool.
I do that. I do step away from it. But it's hard to like be in the situation and be like, all right, let me take 7 deep breaths. It's breathe in, right? It's hard. Like when you're in the middle of it.
If you have a goal, then you'll always
But I'm talking about like mid conversation. I mean, if it's something, an activity that you're going through, sure, that's fine. But if I'm talking to someone and they stick at me with something that's
why you have to make it a habit. I've done it with you. I've learned to do it.
so you're in tune with
I'm more in tune with my star.
Absolutely not.
Was it my
Star
star
player?
player?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But I think we all have our challenges, right? And it's a work in progress. But I truly believe that we are all capable of getting there. We're all capable of getting to the Jaylen Hurts level of being in tune with your star player. To me, like that level of being in tune with who you are and what it is that you do and what you believe, like Jaylen Hurts level, like that's if not the highest, man, it's up there. Because that, like I say, whether they win, whether they lose, the challenges that he experiences, it's the same face. You never see him like overly excited or overly upset, right? He is kind of just rolling with the punches and taking it as it comes. And then, kind of managing each and every situation that he goes through. And that's the goal. So my challenge is, for everyone out there, for this year, I'm challenging all of us to be in tune with our star player. Like, stay centered, keep focused, remain diligent in, your journey, because, we're going to be inspiring others once we do, right? You're going to show others exactly how to react, how to respond when you're put to the test, you're under fire. And I just think it makes for a better story at the end of the day. So that's my challenge to you. Hopefully we all are able to continue to be in tune with our star player. All right. And, that brings us to the milestone I want to leave you with for this episode. And the milestone is simple. It's when you're in tune with your star player, you don't play for the crowd, you play for the crown. I may have brought the example with Jaylen Hurts up. His demeanor, his responses, his reactions has nothing to do with what is said, right? It has everything to do with, man, this is the goal that I have. I can't allow these distractions or these naysayers or these challenges, the criticism, the rejections, the failures. I can't allow any of that to move me off my pivot, right? Move me off this path that I'm on to this prize that I'm chasing. So, you don't move to the crowd, you move towards the crown, right? Move towards the goal that you set for yourself. And that's my encouragement to you today, all right? So with that, brings us to the end of this pod. Hopefully I'm encouraging you to really focus on being in tune with yourself, being confident in yourself, being confident in your abilities, and just continuing to strive for greatness, man. All right? As always, the vision and goal of this podcast is to entertain, educate, and elevate you miles high above your fears, your doubts, and any limitations that you may think exist. Always knowing that those limitations only exist in your mind. All right? So until next time, you guys stay blessed.